My first guest is joining me in studio, Mr. Scott Pankos. He's a special consultant with a company called IGNG Incorporated. Their stock symbol's IGNG. Scott, great to have you back again.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Now, IGNG has a breakthrough technology called Smart Scan, which provides real-time 3D and X-ray imaging. But before we talk about that, I've noticed a bunch of restructuring going on with the company lately, and I wanted to get your take on that.
Okay, great. Well, 2 months ago, IGNG was totally upside down. We had a lawsuit that wouldn't go away. That side basically lost every round, but kept appealing it all the way to the Supreme Court, wow. Lost the Supreme Court ruling, and appealed that. So we had this lawsuit that wouldn't go away. We were in default on 12 separate notes held by 5 separate note holders. We had an overhang through those notes of about 65 million warrants. We owed $1.5 million to the legal team that ushered through this, us through this whole process, and a variety of other vendors and suppliers. And we were mired in Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Since that time, that appeal to the Supreme Court got denied, so that case is closed. So we're over that hump. We completely restructured all the notes with all 5 note holders, and structure those basically such that we bought another 8-9 months of time. So we're not in default anymore. We convinced those note holders to loan us additional money, which is a good thing. We eliminated 50 million of those warrants of the approximately 65 million that they had, so we have a significantly reduced overhang with that. We restructured the legal bill, which was over $1.1 million, and either paid down or with stock or renegotiated the other notes payable that we had to our vendors. And most important, we made it out of bankruptcy. And so we don't have all those constraining factors holding us back anymore. So this is an incredible feat for a company to do this within a short period of time. But the key takeaway here is, why did all these people work with us and were so patient with us during all this restructuring? Because they saw and realized the upside potential of our underlying technology, the Smart Scan technology. They realized that this company had a market value, market cap of over $1 billion several years ago, all centered around the technology. And they realize that they can now get in at under 10 million. So that upside potential it was very motivating.
Well, it's interesting because you basically answered my very first question out of the box from that statement, because you can't get people who have notes in your company, restructure notes, and give you additional money unless they have faith in what you're doing.
That's right. They have faith. And we work very closely with those note holders and with the legal team that works so hard on our behalf. And they all do realize what we have here and the upside potential.
So you've cleared the decks. It's a fresh start. What are the priorities for the companies going forward?
Yeah, so we now have a small facility in place with these note holders, but we have to raise some equity capital now, 3 million, 4 million range, enough to build a world-class team. Once we have that money, we're going to build a world-class team. I know how to do this. I have done it. With my last company, LPath, we built a world-class team. MDs, PhDs, CPAs, MBAs from the top schools, from the top companies, Novartis, Pfizer, GlaxoSmithKline, and the like, and we built a world-class team. We have the makings of a world-class team now. We have discussions ongoing with a few folks that we believe will be the foundation for this team here at IGNG. And once we have that in place, we can then get down to the business of building a business around this technology. So that means, getting the FDA approval for the first generation of the machine, but start working on what will become the production model of the machine. And that means working with leading hospitals and key thought leaders from various radiology departments and making it happen, start production, and then ramping up revenue.
Well, that's impressive. Of course, building a world-class team with people whose names have alphabet soup at the end of it, that's very important when you're in a medical technology company. But let's dive into the SmartScan 3D technology. What is it about SmartScan that is so compelling?
Yeah, so the technology is primarily a software thing, and we have built a machine around the software capability. The machine is called the Dominion, and this imaging machine competes basically with 3 devices that are currently in the radiology department of most any hospital. It's a simple X-ray machine, number one. It would compete against a C-arm, which is a fluoroscopy machine, which is X-ray video, and then there's a CT scanner that it would compete against. So let's talk about these individually. Our Dominion with SmartScan technology versus a simple X-ray. So let's envision an X-ray of a skull. So if you did that, you'd get, in today's world, a simple 2D rendering of that skull. It would look a little bit like what you see on the flag of a pirate ship, right? It'd be that type of thing in 2D format. What the Dominion machine does with the SmartScan technology is it gives, in real time, it will give you a 3D rendering. And you should actually go to our website and take a look. You'll see on one of the tabs an example of this, because we have a human cadaver skull at our lab.
Wow.
Encased in this plastic rubbery material. And we actually put that into our Dominion machine. And it's a marvel to watch. You can toy with the controls. You can get that pirate flag looking perspective, and then you can rotate the skull, and you can see it from the side. You can see it from the back. You can then enter the skull from the back. You're now inside the skull. Wow. You can see the back of the skull. You rotate around. You see the back of the teeth of this this person who died many years ago.
Incredible.
So imagine the advantages that offers up to the clinician involved. So it's a clear-cut advantage to the Dominion vis-a-vis a simple X-ray machine. So then you have video X-ray. Video X-rays, C-arms, fluoroscopy machine, whatever you want to call it, those are in great demand today because of all these non-invasive surgeries where the clinician is guiding a catheter or some tool through the arteries or into the spine. So you can imagine having this 3D rendering where you can rotate things on any axis and kind of go inside things. You can imagine the advantages. But I have a quote here from a vascular surgeon, and I think nothing is more powerful than reading what he states about the advantages of our machine. Dr. Tattersall, quote, "As a vascular surgeon performing radiographic procedures, I deal with the limitations of 2D imaging every day. With a C-arm, I must constantly go back and forth between posterior, lateral, and oblique views to accurately image vascular lesions. This necessitates multiple injections of the contrast material, which is toxic to the kidney, and it takes a lot more time. I see tremendous value in the ability to instantly obtain 3D images."
Scott, I could spend the entire show talking to you because it's such a fascinating technology, such an incredible story. Unfortunately, we're just about out of time. I do have to ask you one more question, if you can give me a brief answer.
Sure.
Why this is a good time right now to take a closer look at this company?
Yeah. So we now have the opportunity to build a business and to leverage the SmartScan technology. And we have positioned this company for such an endeavor. And we've got stakeholders who have worked with us, who saw the revolutionary breakthrough nature of this technology and were willing to work with us. And so we think that other people should kind of follow their lead and get in at a price point here that is I think, an extraordinary opportunity.
The company's Imaging 3 Incorporated, IGNG is their stock symbol. Scott, as I said a moment ago, fascinating, and I really appreciate you bringing the story to us.
And it's great to be here. Thanks again.